Awesome. So, when I have a patient that comes in and they have an enlarged prostate and they're having erectile issues, one of the first things, literally, one of the first things that I ask the partner, if they happen to be there, is do we have a skid mark problem? All right. Now, I know skid marks are so unsexy. But we got to talk about skid marks if we're going to talk about prostate care, how to deal with prostate enlargement, and the things that can go wrong when we're actually constipated, right? So if you're a little squeamish about poop, now is the time to let it go. Because skid marks and prostate care are intricately related. So let's kind of get to it. So just to reiterate, I want to make sure that you know basically how things flow when it comes to the prostate, right? So how are constipation, bowel prep, and everything like that even related to the prostate? So when you're thinking about eating and you're thinking about pooping, sometimes I'll ask a patient, well, how often are we pooping? And the answer will be, well, once every other day or so. That's not enough, right? And then when they ask the consistency, is it soft or is it choppy or bally? Well, the problem with the bally, choppy stuff or alternating back and forth lets me know that we have an imbalanced bowel system and that bowel problem can actually be amplified into a prostate issue. So a lot of you go to the doctor and the doctor orders a PSA, right? So we've got to talk about what the PSA really means and how that can even be impacted by what's going on with your bowels. So just to kind of review, so you go through the process and you eat your food and it's supposed to be digested. Well, in those of us who are functioning at our optimum state versus those who aren't, we can actually end up with constipation. Now, how does constipation even play into the D and into the prostate? Well, I'm going to show you, and you really have to kind of think really closely about the anatomy. Because when the poop isn't moving, see, look here. So you see the prostate in the front, right? And as this rotates, look in the very back. That long thing hanging down actually represents bowel. It actually represents where the vault where we actually find a lot of stool when someone is constipated. So when you're dropping little ballies instead of smooth bowel movements, ultimately what's happening is that those ballies are sitting right there at the edge, right? And they can actually be applying pressure to your prostate, but even worse, as that stool sits there, and it's not supposed to be sitting there, it's supposed to be pushing through so the next bowel movement can come. As that feces sits there, toxins can actually leak through and out of the bowel and actually impact the prostate. So when we're talking about detoxing and we're talking about toxins, a big part of detoxing and making sure that your body is as healthy as possible is making sure that the bowels consistently move and there's not just bowel sitting there, but there's not just feces sitting there that can actually impact the prostate. Now, taking this one step further, why am I asking women about, not women, but partners, why am I asking them about whether or not skid marks are actually a problem? Well, the problem with skid marks that I can tell when a gentleman comes in and his partner kind of says, yeah, well, we do have some skid mark issues. One, I know that constipation may be a part of the problem. So constipation and prostate, they don't go well together. Then the other part is, I know he doesn't really like to touch himself back there. He's got a thing about it. Now, that is as much a part of your body as your eyeball. That's as much part of your body as your arm. And it deserves care and it deserves time too. When we look at Asian countries and we compare the statistics of prostate cancer in Asian countries versus the Western countries, we see a huge difference. So scientists are going through, what is the difference related to? Is it the diet? Is it the lifestyle? Is it the fact that prostate massage is a big part of their lives? So we don't know. We don't know what to attribute it to, but we know that there's a huge difference when we look at the statistics between the two. Now, personally, since I've been practicing functional medicine, I have seen a huge difference in my patients who do the prostate massage, whether they do it themselves or someone else does it for them, versus those who don't. So from skid marks, I know that constipation may be an issue. I know that he doesn't like to touch back there, and he's not getting the towel in the crevices and getting clean back there. I also know that he's going to resist me telling him, hey, look, we've got to try to get this prostate massage. And then the fourth thing I know, hands down, I know she hates or he hates going down on his partner, right? So I know there's going to be an intimacy problem there if skid marks exist, because I know that ultimately nobody likes to be down there and have the smell of boo-boo there, right? So when it comes to prostate care, one thing that you have to do is make sure that your bowels are moving regularly, right? And the other thing that you want to do is that when you're even in the shower, taking a little bit of that washcloth and just putting it on your finger and just getting it right in that entryway can help with this process and ultimately prepare you for what I'm going to suggest that you talk to your doctor about, which is the prostate massage. Now, prostate massage doesn't have to be all invasive, right? So you're thinking, doc, there's no way I can stick anything in my butt and blah, 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 blah. Well, this is not that. We can actually even talk about a perineal prostate massage. Yes, believe it or not, you do not have to go ahead and insert. So let me show you this. When we look, so the part on the top represents the scrotum, right? The star on the bottom represents the anus. That little point in the middle represents on the outside of your body where the prostate point is, right? That's the point that if you're getting shock wave on your prostate, we're going to focus on. That's the part that some acupuncturists will focus on. We call that the Jinmo point. And that's the point that you can actually focus on without going internally on your prostate. You just use your massager and you put a little lubricant on it and you just kind of go back and forth. Hard pressure, right? Now, why is this even important? Why is it so important? Well, I'm going to show you, because when we're talking about prostate care and we're talking about the process of even eruption, I have plenty of gentlemen that come to me and say, doc, every time I erupt, I have a pain down there and it hurts. And so as a result of it, I've stopped doing it. I even got a DM about this the other day. The problem is that as your prostate goes through life and it ages, you have a whole pathway, like consider it a roadway or a tunnelway that goes through the prostate that's called an ejaculatory duct. That whole process, the whole purpose of that pathway is to move ejaculate through there, right? Now, what happens when you have an enlarged prostate or a sickened prostate or a weak prostate or one that's just boggy and tender is that duct, that pathway can get clogged up. If you think about it, when that stuff comes out, it's thick, right? It's bad on black sheets. It's bad on jeans. It will stain and get thick, right? So imagine going through life, maybe not drinking enough water, maybe not being as hydrated as possible, and the thick stuff can actually get clogged up in that duct, right? It's basic common sense. It happens. And what the prostate massage actually can help you do is help kind of clear those ducts out a little bit, help kind of add a little bit of movement to an area that kind of sits there. Now remember, the prostate sits right behind your anus, right in front of it. The anus is sitting right there. So if stool is sitting there, it's applying pressure on the prostate. If stool is sitting there, toxins are leaking through to the prostate. You've got to get your bowels moving regularly. One of the best ways that you can actually do that is even just adding omega-3 fatty acids into your vitamin regimen, right? Omega-3 fatty acids help us with so many things, but they actually help with movement. We can start talking more about bowel health as we go through and gut health as we go through, but really making sure that the movement is there is going to help your prostate be healthier. It's going to also improve your sex life, because women and men, your partners are very much in tune to whether or not there seems to be an issue there, right? Because even if you decide, hey, let's try this new position, in the back of their head, if you are constipated, they're thinking, that position's not going to work for me very well. So let's get into it. Let's get the washcloth, get in there, get the stuff, you know, get comfortable with that area, because once you start to get comfortable with the area, you can actually start to do things the natural way that other cultures have been doing for centuries and having no issues with it, all right? So now, because I'm so committed to this process of prostatic massage, for you, if you happen to pick up my bundle, you know, the bundle that has the ultimate biohacking your prostate, and we have so many resources on the supplements that I use for my guys with prostate issues, I am going to give you a prostate massager. Yep. Because I'm so committed and I want you to start this process. I will never forget, you know, my dad towards the end of his life, you know, talking to me about his prostate, and it really became this thing. He had never mentioned it before. I had no idea. And I often think back to what would have happened if he and I could have had these conversations earlier, before things got out of control. So I don't want you to wait until you're in your 80s and you have a massively enlarged prostate. I want you to take your prostate health seriously now. Talk to your doctor about prostatic massage. If you already have prostate cancer, this needs to be a conversation with your doctor before you even consider prostatic massage. But if you are in the stages of early prostate symptoms, you know, getting up too much in the middle of the night, possibly weakened stream, trouble with ejaculate, maybe pain when you do it, prostate massage can help. All right. So if you are committed to this process of getting your prostate under control, and maybe you want to come off of medications, or maybe you don't even like the medications and you never started them. I keep getting DMs from you guys too, the ones of you who've just decided you're not going to take any of the medicine that the doctor gives you. You've got to have a plan. You've got to have a prostate care plan, and the bundle is actually a really great place for you to start. And as long as I have a box full of these prostate massagers, I'm going to be shipping you one with the printed copy of the bundle, the printed copy, okay? So for those of you who aren't familiar with the bundle, it is chock full of all of the information you need to start this process of erectile function. I do not like to use the word dysfunction, because it's not dysfunctional, it's just going through a process, right? So what can you do to get things back healthy? And honestly, the prostate massage changes people's lives, and I really want you to consider it. Now, you can buy prostate massagers on Amazon. You can buy them at your local toy store. You can get them anywhere. But this is a great starter. What I like about a prostate massage, you do not want one that can, if you do an internal prostate massage, you do not want one that can potentially slide up and get lost. You want one that has a handle on it, right? Because honestly, I'm starting you out on the perineal, the outside massage, but ideally, I want you to be comfortable enough to do both, inside and the out. Certain cultures, certain cities, you can find a professional to do the prostate massage for you, right? But for those of you who are DIYers, I'm a DIYer myself. I want to try to fix everything I can at home before I go out and get help. You've got to talk to your doctor about it first, and then there's no reason not to get started. So in order to get more information about the bundle and how you can get your free prostate massager, head over to drrachelinstitute.com/bundle. Listen, now you know who you are. You sent me a message yesterday through a DM, and you said that you had been diagnosed with prostate cancer and you weren't getting it treated. You have to take these things seriously. Prostate enlargement is a natural part of life. It is going to happen to everybody, you know, so we want to minimize it. We want to reduce inflammation. We want to consider the prostate massage. We want to add nutrients into our diet that can help. We want to do all of those things, but if you've gotten to the point where you've been diagnosed with prostate cancer, you cannot just sit at home and look at videos and try to decide what's next. You have to put a plan together, okay? So let's get to it. Like this video, share this video, and I will see you next week, all right?